and welcome to Cosmic Connections. I'm Starlene. I'm here with Christopher. We're going to be talking about the presidential election charts from the people that are going to be in the presidential election. So it should be an interesting conversation. We're going to keep bias out of it as much as humanly possible and just talk about the charts themselves. So I thought this would be a fun topic to talk about. So yeah, how are you doing today, Christopher?
I'm doing well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Life just keeps moving on. So
yes, it does. That's it. That's it. So let's talk about, who do you want to talk about first? Well, you tell me.
Well, I guess just to kind of talk about what were some of the things that I was working on and that you've been doing as well is, in astrology, at least the way we practice astrology, there isn't a right or wrong. There isn't a good or bad. That's not kind of the way this works. It's just like what is. When you're looking at a chart, you're looking at, okay, what are the dynamics of the person? How can these dynamics together manifest in a positive way or a negative way? And everybody has that. So it's not like, wow, this person's really bad and this person's really good. No, that's not the way astrology works. All right. It's just, what are the qualities and strengths of this person? What are the qualities and strengths of that person? How does this work? How does that work? That's really all you're doing. So when Starlene mentions the idea of unbiased, well, I don't know if we can ever be like, ever be totally unbiased, but it is, astrology does help to remove bias in the sense of, okay, this is just the way a person is. Now you may say, oh, that would be really good for this, or you may say that would be really bad. That's a bias. Okay. But to say this is what is, that's it. That's it just is. Okay. This is a dynamic that's there, typically manifesting in the positive this way or that way. All right. Your choice as to whether that would be a good thing or a bad thing, So when we're looking at the charts, and you're looking at the charts, especially for a president, what you're looking at a leader. I mean, and especially you're looking at the charts of people who obviously have had major success. They're running for president. These are nominees now. One of them will be the president. So it's like, these are not losers. Okay. These are not people who are not manifesting fairly strong dynamics. That's a given. Okay.
Right.
So
wouldn't be there.
It's not like, oh, this is a horrible person. Yeah, no, you're not going to get to that position and be a quote horrible person. Now, again, a person can do horrible things, but no one is just innately horrible. That just is not the way this works. Okay. So that's just to set a little of the grounding of what we're kind of looking at here. So what I did was I wanted to look up two of the strongest vibrations, and then looking up the ascendant as well to see the kind of how that plays out. And what do I mean by the strong? What am I doing when I'm looking at the strongest vibrations? I'm looking at where a minimum of 3 planets come together, typically in a 0 or 1 degree conjunction. What vibration do they all come together in? And of course, I really like it when I can get personal planets, or at least 2 personal planets, 1 impersonal one. But I find for my scoring system, I put more into personal planets. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But you can get different things. You can get different ones depending. When you're dealing with leaders, sometimes you go to the larger scale planets because you're dealing with the bigger group. So it would make sense that you have, sort of the outer planets. You have, again, Saturn, Jupiter, then also Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune. So it's like where these kind of come in when you're dealing with larger scale things. So again, that's how I do it. Okay. So looking at Trump, 2 of his strongest vibrations was the 129 and the 10. So, and what you were looking at there in the 10th, he had a Saturn, Neptune, Uranus. So these are more outer, which basically deals with a grounded idealism and vision. So these 3 planets together deal with a sort of a ground. Saturn grounds it. And then Neptune and Uranus. Uranus is going to be that individuation, that forward progressive kind of thing. And Neptune's going to be the idea of a vision, so a dream, what you kind of see. So in the 10th vibration, it has a grounded vision, and it's grounded in the title I have for the 10th vibe is a strategic complex authority. All right. It's a dynamic of the individual who is diligent and hardworking, adept at navigating the complexities of strategic planning, negotiation with a clear and precise communication style. While they excel in roles that demand attention to detail and a systematic approach, they face challenges in social integration due to their reserved nature. This blend of skills and personal hurdles shapes a profile of someone who is highly effective in their professional life, but may experience fluctuating social dynamics and personal introspection. Okay, so again, in their professional life, they excel. In some of their personal things, it's a little more difficult, is what this particular vibration does. Some of the negative manifestations of this is under this influence can appear aloof or disconnected, making them difficult to understand in social contexts. So what they would say is it's made for leadership, it's made for professional kind of dynamics, not as much personal social. Like this dynamic is not made for that. Then in his 129th, it's called the bold influential willpower. It's hilarious to me. So, and he has
129th.
129, yeah. It's a Sagittarius 11. And he has 4 planets here in a tight conjunction: Moon, Mars, Neptune, Pluto. And this is the feeling the need to explore deep feelings, the personal imaginative touch here. So this vibration is characterized by strong integrating and healing willpower dynamic, which is both energetic and self-reliant. It combines ambitious and pioneering drives with a scientific and logical mindset, often pushing towards the basic and fundamental issues in any theory or discussion. The vibration embodies a noble disposition, high-minded, honorable, yet bold and courageous, and a sort of a fearlessness. However, it can display an erratic and disturbing disposition, hinting at a deep-seated complexity within. The negative aspects here is it can manifest as treacherous and aggressive behavior, where subtlety might be used to secure ends forcefully, often leading to strained relationships and conflicts. The disposition can foster a dissembling and unscrupulous mind, making the native adept at defending causes, noble or not, with underhanded tricks. Such traits may result in many enemies and potentially dangerous situations, culminating in a sudden or premature end. All right, so that's the 129. Again, any energy can manifest positively and negatively. So when you're looking at someone who is highly successful and has really built something from the ground up, if you think that person isn't aggressive or can't get into massive fights, you do not understand energy.
Right.
Okay, so
It just comes with the territory.
it does.
Really.
You cannot. Yeah, if you're going to push, if you have the ability to push through things and push past things, you have the ability to run right over people. It again, it's how you use it. All right.
Right.
Can you temper it or not? Some people can, some people can't. Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, you always have to be fair in looking at the dynamic. I mean, I can read the first part of this definition. Oh, wow. People, again, if you like a person, if you don't like a person, you're going to weed through it. You're going to pick up all the negative traits if you don't like them. You're going to pick up all the positive traits if you do. If you're honest, you realize both exist within a person.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So the other thing of Trump is his ascendant, which is a 353. And the 353, okay, so this is an ascending, the face, okay, let me see where this is here. Oh, here we are. Okay, so the 353. That's a. Oh yeah. So the ascendant here reveals an individual who immediately strikes others with a harmonious blend of courtesy, meticulousness, and a deep sense of compassion. They come across as both intuitive and strategic, capable of seeing the bigger picture and taking calculated risks to improve systems and conditions around them. Their strong will and mature judgment are evident in their demeanor, giving an impression of someone who's driven to reform and innovate, particularly in ways that benefit society as a whole. However, this drive can also present challenges. They may appear restless or scattered, struggling to focus or feeling oppressed when their lofty aspirations don't align with their reality. This could manifest as a tendency to complain or feel overwhelmed, which might be perceived as a lack of initiative. Despite these potential pitfalls, their commitment to humanitarian causes and their innate ability to lead with both strength and empathy make them a commanding and inspiring presence. Their aura of nobility and ambition often position them for success and leadership, though they must be mindful of balancing their grand visions with practical, grounded action. All right. So you can see, I mean,
What are the
Trump.
planets in the 129 vibe? Are they that
Oh, the
involved?
planets in the
Would they?
129 is a
The
Moon,
way.
Mars, Neptune, Pluto.
Oh,
So this
Mars,
is,
Neptune, Pluto. Okay.
yeah, Moon, Mars, Neptune, Pluto. So this is feeling the need to explore deep feelings, our personal and imaginative touch. So this is a very, that bold, willful power is a very intricately internalized dynamic
Hmm.
for Trump, is what it is. It really is going to his feeling more than just a mental mindset. It kind of goes beyond that. It touches his emotion, is what it's going to do. So
Interesting.
you can see that with, three of these, very strong dynamics in Trump. Very willpower is a massive thing. And anybody who doesn't know willpower is a massive thing with Trump hasn't watched anything Trump's done. He's
Yeah.
got a lot of willpower,
Whether
you
you like
know.
him or not, you
Yeah,
have
again,
to see him for what he is, right? He
yes,
does have a
this is what it
willpower.
is. This is how he's built. This is the dynamic. Okay. So if he has willpower and he's doing where you want to go, like he's your best friend. If he's going where you don't want to go, he's your worst enemy. That's the reality. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one was Kamala. Okay. So Kamala Harris, and she
Well,
has,
before you move on to
okay.
Kamala, I just wanted to bring this up. I'm not sure if you use these aspects in looking at Trump's chart, but I pulled up the 10th vibration, and he has the quincunxes, a quincunx to Mercury from all of those planets, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, and then a semi-square to Mars, which is very exact, both of those, the Mercury and the Mars, and they're aspecting each other too in a trine. So there is also the energy of that going on too. I didn't know if you saw that or not, because those are like minor
Well,
aspects. Well, not the trine,
so
but
one of the things I do, like in looking at all this, it's when you have all these planets engaged in this way, like
mhm.
it just means that. So how I'm looking at the vibe is where the energy is kind of manifesting. It's almost, the vibe is almost like a house where it's happening here. It's happening in this way. Okay.
Right, right.
So it's like, that these are, like, you're listing off several dynamics. So that's why it's so strong. It's not just the
Right,
three. It's strong
right.
because so many of the planets are involved in a relationship. So there's a lot of energy manifesting through the 10th vibe. That's just the
Hmm.
way it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you look again, if I'm looking at the 10th vibe as being a strategic complex authority,
Hmm.
it's coming out that way. You're going to have a person who's strategic. All right, where they're going to
Hmm.
go, how they're like, it's complex. It's not simple. Okay, it's like, I mean, the guy was a builder. That's what he did. They built, like, that's what
That's
he did.
true.
Okay,
Yeah.
so where we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, when you're dealing in building, putting that thing together is not easy. Like, that's a
Right.
lot of planning, especially those big buildings. My lord, just the planning is crazy what you have to do. And authority. Okay, that's what it is. It's the person, the boss. That's what they are. So the image of it, so the image I have for the 10th vibe is an Indian chief with all the Indians. Okay, it's that dynamic. All right, that's
And
the way it
the
is.
Indian chief would be the
The
10
Indian
vibe
chief with
person.
all the Indians. Okay, he's there. Like, okay, this is
I'm
what we need to do. It's
I'm
totally
thinking
needed.
of and your description of the 10 vibe is really interesting because I'm thinking of the other description I have for 10 vibe, which is play creative and expression with others. I mean, that's just a short version of it. Strategic was not a word I would have used for 10 vibe before this conversation, but maybe that
Right.
is something that plans in there, and specifically with Trump because of the planets involved in it
Yeah.
too. Would you say that's the truth as well, or
Oh,
or
yeah.
is it more?
Well,
Yeah, because
so
it
when we
seems like
deal with when you deal with the concept of the play, the only thing I see in the play or really do I see an element of creativity? Yes, but
yeah,
it's a different way.
yeah, it's not like a
It's not like
innocent color or
it's
something.
not like the fifth vibe. So
Right,
it's not like a five vibe, which definitely has a more playful attitude to it.
right,
The 10th has a certain creativity, but not an immaturity or sort of open. It has a more authoritative dynamic to it. That's what I'm
right.
seeing with it. And again, Trump being one of his stronger vibes, um, he's not. I don't know if anybody would talk about Trump as just being playful. You know,
I
um,
don't see him that way, but I mean, who knows what he's like in his personal life? I mean, he could
yeah.
be,
Does
but
he have much of a personal life?
not
I'm not
probably
seeing the
not.
dynamics for it. I don't see the
Yeah,
vibrations for much of a personal life. He really is, again, strategic, complex authority, compassionate willpower reformer, bold, influential willpower. Two strong vibrations that both deal with willpower. All right. I will not be stopped. That's that dynamic. Okay. So,
interesting too, because okay, so I'm reading out of this book
yep,
as
yep.
well. So the 10 vibe description. So
Mm,
I think it's really interesting what you said, Christopher, because it says creativity with others, 5 times 2, a love of games, entertainment, and experiments, especially when shared with others, playful and fascination of or interest of new ideas, a distaste for rote learning and old tedious methods, enjoying surprises, and usually a good sense of humor. I would say he's got a good sense of humor.
oh, he
He kind
definitely
of
has a good sense of
tries to
humor.
make people laugh
Yeah.
all the time. To
Yeah.
play with another person, example, a card game or
Yes.
tennis. So yeah, I could see that. Like, he is also, I don't say he's trying to, do something new when I look at him from just a political standpoint. What I think he's trying to do, I think he's trying to do something new in the sense of, um, changing things from what they are. His whole thing is make America great again, right?
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
whole idea, is like
Yeah.
changing something into something that, is better than what it was. And this is just his own opinion, not mine, just what he's kind of trying to do. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. He also has a strong 11 vibe and a 23 vibe. I thought that was interesting. Both of those vibrations are strong too.
Yeah, those are a little weaker, like in the
Right.
overall like scheme,
They
but
are.
yeah. But when you again, and just for everybody to know, energy is energy. So how it manifests and how people interpret it as far as through their own beings,
Right.
Hitler, like if you look at the Hitler chart, he wants to protect Germany. Okay, so he has a protective nature to him. Now you could say Hitler was horrible. He does that. Okay, yes, that's how it manifested.
Right.
Okay, but understand in his mind, how is it processing? What does a person think they're doing? People can do very horrible things, but in their head, they're doing it for good reasons. Again, that's
right. You're not making excuses
you're not
for
trying to
Hitler, but
justify
yeah.
anything. You're just trying to understand, where is this coming from? How do they see that? Because just to quote demonize people and say, wow, that is just an evil person who had total evil intent and all that. It's not that those people kind of don't exist, but they're pretty rare. They're not like all over the place.
Like
There's other
people,
reasons.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People always have reasons in their mind or what they're doing and where it's coming from. So it's trying to understand that. And you could be a lot more compassionate and understand kind of where people are coming from. So with Kamala, she has this really, really strong 164 vibe, which I call open heart communication is what it is. And she has a Mars, Uranus, Pluto there, 2 degrees. And that's at least the tight conjunction. The definition of this one is it embodies a meditative, creative, and disciplined mind capable of assembling things in a positive manner, emphasizing specific details while appreciating the overview and context. Communication is key, and individuals with this vibration excel as teachers of a discipline. They possess an instinctive dynamic and self-reliant nature characterized by a pioneering spirit and a strong work ethic. Innocent and harmless, they exhibit moral courage and act from the heart, making them true friends and constant lovers. Another thing is on the negative, while jovial and sympathetic, individuals with this vibration may indulge in self-indulgences and indiscretions that harm their fortunes. Despite their liberty and frankness of mind, they may have a kindly but weak nature, intimately knowledgeable about human character. This vibration is associated with camaraderie, but may also lead to a weakness for clandestine affairs. Okay, so this is a Scorpio 14, on the chart. But the 164 vibe, when it talks about an open heart communication, it's dealing with a person who needs to speak from the heart. They need to share things that are very deep to them and not just at a mental or intellectual level. One of the things, so it's very interesting because Kamala has this strong Scorpio dynamic here, as well as Hillary Clinton had one too. And when people are hesitant to really speak from the heart, they come off as either insincere or possible hiding something. Because, okay, they're designed to do that. And so, when I was looking over these things, I'm like, man, I haven't really necessarily noticed Kamala as a real heart communicator, although she's done some stuff recently that's been more that way. But it seems like it's a lot of the things are very scripted. Well, open heart to heart communication is usually not very scripted. You need to speak from the heart. And I think she would be much more impactful if she did that. Yeah. If I'm advising her, I'm advising her to do that, because you have to. So people know, again, there's not a right way or wrong way, but people know when you're being you, when you are really using the energy that you possess.
Right. As opposed to just kind of scripted, like you said. Yeah, that makes sense. And she does come across like that.
Some people do very well. They're designed to do that. They're designed to read from a script, and it comes off genuine. Other people aren't.
Maybe that's where her laughter comes from, because she'll get into a moment when she's unscripted and start giggling.
Oh, actually, her laughter comes from her ascendant.
Oh, from her ascendant?
Yeah, I found that in her ascendant. So the other thing she has is this 313. And she has Mercury, Mars, Pluto, 1 degree in the 313, which I titled The Curious Inventive Explorer. So the vibration embodies an intellectual adventurer, one whose curiosity and inventive spirit drive them to explore new realms of thought and action. They are naturally drawn to fields of science and business, where their aptitude for seeing patterns and creating original solutions can truly shine. Their journey is akin to that of a cartographer, charting unknown territories, using both the precision of science and creativity of art to navigate and make sense of the world around them. On the negative side, the perpetual quest for perfection can become a double-edged sword. This individual may struggle with never feeling fully satisfied with their accomplishments, always seeing room for improvement, which can lead to a sense of perpetual incompleteness and restlessness. All right. Again, this is a very open, inventive curiosity, which is there. So she has this Open heart communication, very open, creative, inventive, explorer. And then finally, she has this 291 vibe as far as her ascendant, which is a Gemini 25. And this one, let me see. Oh, yeah, Gemini 25. Oh, here we go. So the Gemini 25 gives the impression of a quiet, introspective individual with a strong intellectual presence. They come across as deeply engaged in their thoughts, often reflecting on complex ideas and viewing the world through a philosophical lens. This person projects a calm and composed demeanor with a thoughtful approach to communication that resonates with others. However, their introspection can sometimes create a discomfort in social situations, leading to moments of inappropriate laughter. This can occur when their unique perspective or inner thoughts surface unexpectedly, making them seem out of sync with the emotional tone around them. Despite this, they are seen as insightful and driven by a desire to understand and contribute meaningfully to the world. So the concept here is with this Gemini 25, she's very introspective. She has thoughts and she's listening or she's seeing, and something tickles her from inside. And she responds to that
with nervous laughter.
with a laughter, like it's like I got the joke inside me, but everybody doesn't necessarily, they're not necessarily in on the joke. Okay. So it's a, again, with that, the Scorpio and then this Gemini kind of dynamic, it's a person who, again, it's a sharp mind, but the ability to communicate it isn't always the best. Okay. It's a little bit of a challenge in how you're going to do that is how I would say that. But if you were to say, you know, from if we split everything up to a conservative kind of concept and a progressive or liberal kind of concept, just conceptually, conservatives protect what is, the liberal goes on to the new. Conservatives want repetitive order. A liberal wants a sort of chaotic change. Okay. Now, again, we're not using the word chaos in a negative way. You're using the word chaos is non-formed. It hasn't taken shape yet. In order to change things, you must go into a chaotic state. Now, that will make a conservative extremely nervous. Okay. Because it's now everyone has conservative elements and dynamics and liberal and progressive elements. Everybody has these two. It's just what's the weight? Okay.
Right.
That's all you're dealing with is the weight. So no matter what, a chaotic state will make the conservative dynamics within you nervous. All right. Now, if these are the dominant ones, you want to avoid that at all costs. So in general, although I would not say that Trump's dynamics are heavy fixed because he wants a lot of change, but it's more than her. That's how I would say it. She would be more comfortable in kind of an open status like that. Like, okay, we can go for the change. We can go for the mutability, as it were. So just looking at the two, I don't know. Did you get anything on, as far as you looking at her?
Right. So it was interesting because I did look at her and I looked at both the election day. So that would be 5 November 2024. And I used the time of 12 o'clock or 12 p.m. Eastern time because it's Washington, D.C. because we don't really have like a moment of election, but that was the time that I used. So it was interesting to me because transiting Pluto was square to her sun at 1°51', square to her moon at 2 degrees. And oops, I just moved off of it. Where am I at? at 2 degrees and 8 minutes, and also square to her Mercury at 1 degree and 40 minutes. So these are like fairly tight squares that are coming to be. And Pluto, of course, moves slowly. Thought that was really interesting. And then as I was looking on, I also pulled up both Trump and both Kamala's charts and looked at them individually with the chart of the United States, the Sibley chart of the United States, which is July 4th, 1776 at 5:10 p.m. In Philadelphia. And Pluto, the transiting Pluto, Kamala's Pluto, not the transiting Pluto. Kamala's Pluto was square to the United States chart of the sun, the moon, and Mercury. So I thought that was really interesting because it's the same angle. So we're looking at these squares, both from the United States itself as an entity, and Pluto is, you were saying, all the heavy Scorpio energy. You know, Pluto is related to Scorpio. So there is an energy of something shifting, something maybe even being hidden. So I just thought that was very interesting because we don't normally see that. You know, that seems like a really unusual type of thing to happen. So, you know, it's interesting to look at. Would it tell me that she's going to win or lose or not? No, it wouldn't. But it would make me think that there's something more that's not necessarily being shown, or there's a compulsiveness that's going on there for her towards the United States. I think can't blame her. I would be driven if I was in that position too, to want to become the president. Why wouldn't you? Why would you not? You know, maybe this 100%. Was even planned for some time prior.
Well, she's in her disseminating moon phase too, which is like the prime time. Yeah, she's in a prime time.
Right. So, I mean, it could work for her, could be good because we're looking
if she's at, so if you're looking at, is this the best time for her to run? Would this be it 100% is.
I would say it is a good
100%, because if she were to wait another 4 years, no, it will not be. And if she wins, she will not be reelected. That's not going to happen. Yeah, that based on the chart, no way. Because she'll be she'll be going down into a closing phase, moon side. So it's like diminishing light, and that's not going to happen. So that's for sure. But if she were to win, it's the best shot for her to be. It's for her personally, it's now or never. That's absolutely true. So I would definitely say that. Where Trump's in a I think he's in a first crescent, so it's just like early on in the light, so he's fine. He can do whatever he wants. He's not it's not a prime time, but it's not a bad time. So it's opening light. And the fact is that sort of in the new moon is when he was president, so like the seeds are already there. So
it's interesting too what you said about the first chart you looked at with Kamala. I think the one before 313. I didn't write that one down.
Yeah, the 164.
It's 164. Yeah. So it's interesting that you were saying it could potentially be for her to open her heart, to communicate from the heart, because also Pluto, this transiting Pluto is sun, moon, and Mercury. It's squaring her sun, moon, and Mercury. That would tell me if she were to lean into, if I was consulting her, like lean into opening the heart, speaking from the heart, not being afraid to hold it back. Don't fear, like, you know, anything, you know, that Pluto could create fears or worries or whatever. And I mean, how can you not be if you're in the middle of, you know, being looked at by the whole world, really? You know, like, I think that her opening up would be really helpful for her to connect to the people that she's trying to get.
It would be massive.
Yeah, it really would be. And I think it would help her get what she's looking for, which is to get the presidency.
Yeah, if she has a, you know, like you're looking at, okay, what's the shot someone has? I don't know. But yeah, she needs to open up. It's what Hillary Clinton did not do.
Right.
So Hillary has this, if you look at the chart, she has this Pisces soft, like what the hell? How come we don't see that? Yeah, she wasn't. She was showing a lot of the Scorpion dynamics. And it's like, yeah, people don't respond well to Scorpion dynamics. They're a little scared of Scorpion dynamics. It's just the way it is, because it's very intense and deep, and it can make people a little nervous. So, but if she had leaned into the Piscean, the softer side of her, she would have done way better. And I would say almost the same thing of Kamala. And the reality is, I'm not saying this, you could kind of sound like, oh, that's a woman against a man thing. Well, no, it's really not. It's like, it's a dynamic thing. Okay. It's like, what are the
Right.
energies of the individual?
Right.
It's just the way it is. You could have a man of the same one, and I would say the same thing. Like, you need to
Right.
lean into this. Yeah, this isn't a male female thing. When
No,
you deal
not
with,
at all.
I looked up Robert F. Kennedy too. So, and he has this 335, which is the natural intuitive reformer, is what I call it. And this vibration is characterized by a warm, gracious disposition, a strong desire to nurture and assist others. It thrives in social settings, entertainment, bringing people together with its infectious charisma, known for its nonconformity. This vibration rejects societal norms in favor of more natural, intuitive approach to life, often exploring even psychic or occult fields, either knowingly or unknowingly. The negative side is the main challenges for this vibration arise from its intense drive to push boundaries and implement change, but can sometimes manifest as domination or ruthlessness. There's a tendency to justify harsh means for desired ends, and its relentless pursuit can lead to burnout and destructive behaviors. The proclivity for excess, particularly in habits like gambling or drinking, possess a risk of leading to moral and financial ruin unless redirected towards constructive endeavors. So that's that 335. Then he also has a 48, strong 48 vibe, which has a Venus, Mars, Pluto, 1 degree. So this is a Pisces 4. That was Aquarius 28. This vibration is characterized by a mature disposition, self-reliance, discipline, and responsibility, and the ability to work harmoniously with a team. Often in dynamic and challenging environments, they achieve success through persistent effort and a clear grasp of concepts or complex social processes. Characterized by a mature disposition and a sense of responsibility, they exhibit firm prudence and an innate knowledge that grants them access to esoteric truths and higher order mediumship. Despite their abilities and deep inward strength, they may hesitate to fully utilize these capabilities due to underlying fears. Their strong psychological power allows them to comprehend profound truths intuitively. Again, the negative aspects here is that the strong sense of justice and intelligence can sometimes lead to mistrust and fear, preventing them from utilizing their inward strength. If not balanced by other planetary aspects, this can warp their reserve into hypocrisy and lead to complications in chaotic conditions. So, I mean, they're kind of susceptible to secret enemies and potential threats. And that's part of the 48 vibe, with his ascendant being a philosophical transformation leadership. That's the 29th vibe, which is a Leo 3, is his ascending sign. And this is really a profound inner drive for philosophical understanding and transformation. So he has a more sort of, between the three of them, he's a little more philosophical in nature, a little more esoteric, more open to what could be. So although if you were to have me look at the personalities of all three, the person I would most identify with on a personal level would be Kennedy. That would be who I would like. If you're going to sit down and just talk, yeah, I would probably want to talk to him. Okay, because he deals more in the esoteric, more in the possibility of things. What could, like, okay, that I'm going to lean that way. Now, if I was talking pure business, you're probably looking at Trump. And if you just want to have a relaxing, friendly, like, talk, like it's no real pressure, but it's sort of going to be on a more sort of friendly basis, I'd probably go Kamala.
Right.
I mean, this would be kind of my order of conversation, and not to say that, I mean, Kamala has depth, she has intelligence there. You can see it in the chart. Like, it's obviously there. I mean, she's a Libra, and she's got a Scorpio. Her her Mercury is in Scorpio. That's part of the thing. It's that her Mercury is 1 degree Scorpio. That's where probably that vibration kind of fits in as well, in that scorpionic dynamic is you have to speak a truth with a Mercury in Scorpio. You need to, it's less about facts, more about truth. And truth is not what you do, it's why you do it. Why are you doing what you're doing? That's truth. And she needs to kind of speak from that place. Like one of her strongest one. It's the key is communication. That's the key for her in her life. The key is communication. That's massive. Where you take a Trump, the key is going to be balance. He needs to balance things because he has these grandiose visions, but
Yeah.
what's going to be practical? He's got to you've got to deal practically with things. And then with Kennedy, you've got a philosophy. You've got to be, philosophy takes a while to work in for people to embrace. You can't push that on people because it's very all inclusive. So you have to slowly do that. You have to kind of slow roll that thing. And so he just needs to be patient. That's
it's interesting because Kennedy is having a Jupiter return. So his Jupiter is at 17 of Gemini, and it'll be 20 Gemini. So it'll just have happened just before the election that was on the November 5th chart. So that's the election day. So that would be positive it would seem to be that would be fortunate for him. Although I don't know in terms of American politics how much weight someone that's an independent would really have, because I haven't seen that at least in my lifetime at all.
Yeah, they don't have a shot.
I didn't think so, and I'm not trying to be biased or anything. It's just that's what I just feel like I've never seen that.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Not
he
right
also
now.
He also has Mars on his ascendant, just a degree and a half away from his ascendant in the 12th house, and transiting Mars and transiting Sun on his Mars, like just a degree and a half away. And that's the November 5th chart. So that's interesting that there is, these two dynamics, the Sun and Mars too, maybe giving him some energy. I don't know. I think that, although it doesn't look like he really has too much of an opportunity here, that there's something, maybe it'll propel him to move forward and try to continue a path of, political path or something like that in the future,
For
you
Trump?
Think so? No, I'm talking about Kennedy.
Oh, Kennedy. Yes, definitely. Kennedy, definitely.
I know Trump can't do it again. If he wins, it'll be his second term. So they're not going to.
Yeah. Well, and if he loses, he's not doing anything like that. That'll be,
I don't think so.
He'll go back into family. That's what he'll do. He'll kick right back into that. That's where he can easily do that. Now, the other thing I did was I did composite charts of Kamala and Walz and Trump and Vance. Okay. Now, although we're not 100% sure on Walz's birth time,
right?
But I still was able. I put together a composite, which it seems kind of correct. So together, they have a strong 188, which is that is titled Joyful Collaborative Devotion. And they have a strong 4 vibe, which is the compassionate, adaptable drive. All right. Okay. This is Kamala and Walz. Compassionate, adaptable drive. So what you're looking at, when you take the concepts, compassion, what does that mean? Okay, about the other person, adaptable. The other person, change. So my drive is for change. My drive is for let's see how we can make this work. It's not fixed. The joyful collaborative devotion, it's people that want to work with other people in a friendlier way. Okay. Now, and one is the Scorpio 16, the joyful collaborative devotion. It's, again, dedicated creative drive, desire to collaborate with others. The negative side is they can be overly cautious, tense, guarded, defensive, all these kind of things. So again, when you're joyfully wanting everything friendly, when it's not, they can go nasty. Just so you know, it's not like people always stay friendly. And
So
then with the 4, which is a Cancer 1, so the 4 vibe, this one, this compassionate, adaptable drive, the vibration captures deeply connected with the communal and spiritual aspects of life. They're adept at navigating various life circumstances with grace and adaptability. If you're in a collaborative, warm situation that people want to like, what's the best way to figure out? These are great dynamics to have. Okay. So these are great dynamics in a team effort. Great dynamics in a team effort. Okay. So if they're going in a team setting, these are great people. Okay, I will say that. I have kind of almost no doubt about that. Their dynamics, if operating in their dynamics, wonderful team people. Now, the Vance Trump, they're a 251, which is diplomatic, enterprising integrity. This is an Aquarius 21. And then they have a 181, which is creative, rhythmic explorer. So this is an Aries 16. So it's an Aries and Aquarius as opposed to a Scorpio Cancer. One is water, water, and fire, air. Okay. I mean, these are very different people. It's not like they're all kind of about the same. No, they are not the same. They have a totally different energetic makeup, completely different. So I will say that, where I don't think in other elections it's been quite like that. It's not that different. Okay, you can have one on a Democratic or a Republican, and their personality, it's not all that different. Similar drives. These are very different. So the Trump Vance number 1, which is the Aquarian 21, the diplomatic, enterprising integrity. This vibration is characterized by an enterprising, tactful, and diplomatic nature. Individuals with this vibration excel in business pursuit and politics, exhibiting a mature, sophisticated, ingradiating personality. They are energetic and capable of winning many friends. They are known for their fondness for solitude and a reserved demeanor, often inclining towards a severe type of religion. This vibration represents a crossroad between the temporary beauty of the material world and the higher eternal values, emphasizing the importance of investing in strength of character and personal integrity. The negative aspects include a lack of virility and ambition, leading to a failure in asserting oneself in life's struggle. Such individuals can exhibit moral apathy or mental ineptitude and physical weakness, rendering them objects of pity and burdens to their loved ones. They can manifest as moral paralysis or incapacity with a tendency to lie, nevertheless, and powerless amid natural but uncomfortable surroundings. Additionally, they can suffer from pain, ridicule, misrepresentation. All right, so this is the diplomatic, enterprising integrity. And then the other one, again, is creative, rhythmic explorer, which is it's a quest to find a unique voice through the exploration of life's absurdities, ironies, and inherent chaos. It is characterized by an intense discipline drive into creativity. Now, I just find these kind of interesting, when you look at, you're trying to look at, okay, what is the dynamic between the two? How much do they even work together? I don't really know.
Right.
It's less of a part, but it's interesting to note that when you put the charts together, this is how it kind of forms, where
It's
Vance.
interesting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting too with JD Vance's his sun is an apartheid conjunction with Trump's Pluto. So I thought that was interesting. I was talking on my monthly shows that I do with Mark Matheny, and he loves politics, and he was saying, well, he thinks that Vance will kind of try to control Trump, but there would be struggles there because Trump isn't really controllable. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, yeah, that's true. He's not very controllable.
Again, Trump's 2 of his strongest are about willpower. Yeah,
right, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
It's never
Yeah, but
happening. Where now Vance, his number one is a 180, which is ambitious strategic leadership. So
so
yes.
he's ambitious too. I mean, so but
Oh,
if they
he
work
is very
together
ambitious,
good, they can do move
but
mountains
different.
too.
So it's an ambitious strategic leadership. Okay.
Mm,
And his other one is meticulous individual excellence. These are Vance's.
right.
Meticulous individual. That's the 73rd vibration. Then the 331, which is compassionate service dedication. Those are Vance's top three. Like he's okay. Is he built for politics? Yes, he's built for politics. Um, Again, very driven to succeed, ordered, structured, all that kind of stuff. All the stuff. Me personally, I am not. No, but I'm also not into politics and doing those things. I'm less. I again more philosophy, more Kennedy than this. All right, that doesn't mean that I think Kennedy would be the best president because it's a particular role. Okay. So sometimes, in communication, and sometimes that role needs to be very black and white, less nuanced, because nuance doesn't work always well in politics. Too many people use that. And then, you deal with Waltz from what, again, we're not sure of the time, but from what I got, he has these three. He's a 151, which is a progressive creative exploration. He's an 85, which is an analytical, innovative transformation, and a 132, which is dynamic leadership service. Now, this is a Libra, Pisces, and Aries dynamics, is what they are. So, again, one is very progressive and creative, explorative, very open. All right. The other one is an analytical, innovative transformation. It's about societal transformation, literally about societal transformation. Okay. So, and then the other one is the dynamic leadership service. And this one is an interaction, the free flowing ideas and actions. Is this guy a team player? He is. He wants to transform society. Again, Trump wants to transform society too. Do I think they have the exact same visions? Probably not.
Yeah.
Are they diametrically opposed? I don't think so. I don't actually think they're diametrically opposed, but they have different means of doing it. Okay. Do I think that Waltz could be a good VP, like helping, like get other people on board? Possibly. Do I think Vance could? Yeah, I do. I think they're probably both pretty good VP picks. In a sense of doing what a VP would do. Like, can you get other people on board with you? Can you get senators or congressmen to vote a certain way? Probably both of these guys have the potential for that. I'm not saying they would do it, but they'd have the potential. Almost more so than a Kamala. They would probably be better VPs than Kamala. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Well,
Kamala's not very strong.
her
She's just
struggle is
not.
communication. That's where she can be strong if she comes from the heart.
Right.
She can be
But
strong there.
unfortunately, she doesn't seem thus far to tap into that. She just tries to
Yeah, I mean, behind
cover
the
it
scenes,
up
I
with
don't really
something.
know. We haven't seen it
Right.
to the
Obviously, I don't know her
nation.
personally.
Yeah, we haven't seen it come out to the nation, and it doesn't seem to
Right.
come out to her staff since she had so much of her staff quit. It hasn't come out that way. So if she doesn't turn that corner, that's a problem. If she doesn't turn that corner, so I mean, those would be the things that I would look at and see. I mean, to say again, you're really just looking at the energy dynamics. And
Yeah.
so can the people do the job? Yes. One of the things I did was I ran the vibrations through Chat GPT. So at first I just ran 3 vibrations on Trump and 3 vibrations on Kamala. And I said, these are the dynamics of the person. All right. Tell me who best fits for President of the United States in our day and age, right here and now, for the situation America's in, for the things going on in the country, for the things who best fits? And ChatGPT came back with the Trump dynamics. And they said why. They listed all the things off as to why this would be a better, not knowing who it was.
Oh,
Okay.
so you didn't tell it was Trump.
No, I didn't
Okay.
say this is Trump. I just said these are 3 vibrations. These are 3 vibrations. So it came back with me for an answer. And it picked the Trump vibration and said why. Because basically with the wars, you need someone strong. You need someone who's going to stand up. You're not looking for someone who is going to be like, let's talk about, like, you need someone who's really, we're going to talk,
Right.
but this is where we need to be. Okay. And I'm not going to take no for an answer. So it kind of listed some of those features as, you need someone that's pretty tough and strong, not going to be like open to all of this other stuff. Okay. So then I had run Robert Kennedy's. And well, actually, I went to ChatGPT. I said, "Oh, so you picked the one that was Trump, of which it didn't like." It literally came back with other stuff.
Whoops.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny how some of those things go, because I ended up running Kennedy. I actually ran his 3 strongest vibrations, and I asked ChatGPT, out of the 3 candidates, who do you think this one is? These dynamic, and it picked Robert Kennedy. So, okay, the vibrations fit. Yeah, it picked up that the description of the vibrations of the top 3 in Robert Kennedy's chart did match him from what it knew. Okay, what ChatGPT knew. So then I ran all 3 vibrations, and I asked it to pick what. So all we've done is we've added now Robert F. Kennedy and said, who do you think would be the best? The thing is, ChatGPT now knows the names of these, and then it came back with Kamala.
What a liar.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it just like, why would you shift from what you said first to now you're changing it? Like, we've just added Kennedy and now you say this one, but that's what it did. So just so you know, I mean, that's the way it ran. I mean, it's kind of funny. I don't know how it's coming up with its information, but that's what it did. So again, it's we'll see what ends up happening. Do we get I think it is clear that there's sort of 2 paths. That doesn't mean it's massively different. I think in one, you get a lot of maybe trying different things. I think if you're gonna like look at the 2 as far as attitude goes from a energetic kind of post, you would have probably a Kamala, Walz. They're going to try stuff. That's going to be a little bit of an attitude. Where a Trump, Vance they kind of have a plan in mind they want to do. Okay. And they'll go that way.
When you say try stuff, what do you mean? Like,
I mean,
just
we'll see
different
if it
ways
works.
to appeal?
We'll see if it works, kind of. Because, when you're open from a energetic standpoint of a water mindset, it's not fixed. We can put the water in this vessel or that. We can pick all these other ones. We'll see what works.
I think that's part of the problem, though, because that kind of shows inauthentic behavior.
Well, it's really not. Okay, so it's really not inauthentic. It can come off as inauthentic.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Not inauthentic. But as a leader,
right,
it's not always appreciated, because so the reality is, when you're president, you got 4 years. You don't have a lot of time to experiment, because if the experiment fails, you're out. Okay, so that's why they're so opposed to that, because this needs to work and work fast. So I don't have any time to try. Okay, but we do have to try sometimes new things. So we just don't. You have to limit it. Like, what are you going to try new, and what aren't you going to try new? I mean, that's again, that's the reality. That's part of the pluses and negatives. The plus is supposed to be we can't screw our country up that bad because you only have 4 years, so you can't totally make a total mess of it. The bad part is it's hard to get change when things are then slowly screwing up. It's hard to fix it. It gets really
Right.
hard to fix
Right. The
because
adjustment's
nothing
hard.
goes fast. So, everybody who's like, if this person wins, everything's going to pot. That's not true. If that person wins, it's not true. That's not the way it works. It's not like you may take another step down. And mind you, both sides have been like kind of going down the ladder. We haven't been really massively improving on either way. So it's not like, oh, look, the Democrats have been doing so wonderfully, and the Republicans, or the Republicans have been, no, they haven't. No, neither side's been doing really well. They tend towards the status quo and get one little thing here or one little thing there. Okay. So, again, from a astrological point of view, for me, and looking at, with the vibrations, it's not like, oh, I hate this person, I hate that. No, they're both okay. Probably for me right now, the biggest thing would be we need to get these wars over with. And probably the one who has the best shot at doing that would be a Trump. He would tend to be the type of individual, looking at the dynamics, that will end those things. He'll get them done. He'll get them over with. So if that, and he'll get both. He'll get the one in Israel and Gaza and the one in Ukraine. He'll get those things done. All right. So if that is a priority, then that's where I would probably lean, because he's a little more forceful.
Yeah, that's the thing about Trump.
Willpower.
Even though I know he's kind of brash in the way he speaks, he seems
massively
a little
brash.
more refined than he was at first. But even though he's like that, he's the leader of the United States when he was the president. And even people from other countries looking at him, they need to see a strong leader, not a weak leader. And I'm not saying he's the best guy in the world, but the fact that he's also brazen and not afraid to actually speak what's on his mind makes people in other countries look at him and go, oh, he's not someone to screw around with. I mean, I think that's a good quality that he has, because he's brazen and not afraid. My son's girlfriend's from China, and her family is like, oh, Trump, you don't want to mess with him. When he was the president, they were saying things like that, and I was kind of surprised because they're Chinese, and they thought, well, he's strong. Like, and when
they know that in China
came in, they were like, he's weak. He's just not the same type of energy, because he's supposed to be the leader of the free world. It was kind of interesting to hear that from people in another country.
Well, I did do Biden as well.
Oh, so, did you?
Biden's number one is a 263, which is called the mature, responsible, impulsive. Mature, responsible, impulsive. It's an Aquarian 22. So the vibration is characterized by a responsible and dependable nature with mature judgment. Individuals with this vibration have a clear, detached, and unemotional view of situations, often adopting a somewhat philosophical perspective. They work hard for important causes and possess a dual mentality, being active, energetic, and forceful, though impulsive. They have good willpower and persevere, making them effective in roles such as publicity. They also practice kindness and are admired for their beauty and charm. So that's
I would say when he was younger, he was more.
Obviously the energies are more vital. But the negative aspects of this vibration include a tendency for passions to run to excess, leading to uncontrolled anger and potential acts of violence. Individuals with this vibration might display a strong and forceful nature that they can push through challenges, yet they may struggle to control their own feelings. This lack of self-control can result in brutal ferocity during moments of anger, risking otherwise fortunate nature and career. So, like, basically, he's got a temper, is what it is, and it can go off. And I think
I've seen him.
So we've seen some of that. But overall, in reality, he makes a good, I mean, he can make a good politician. That's actually the energy would say, yeah, he has that ability to do that. And then his ascendant, let me see here. His ascendant, oh, there it is a 4 Sagittarius, which is a 45. Let's see, it's a 45 vibration. And that is
45. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a 45, which reads like this. The person presents with a dynamic blend of caution and daring, deeply rooted in a sense of responsibility and affection for family. They exude an aura of self-assurance, driven by an innate need for self-improvement and progress. Often seen as honorable and sensitive to others' needs, however, this outward composure can be disrupted by their impulsive tendencies, leading to sudden reckless actions or decisions, especially when provoked. Their drive is a mix of pushing boundaries while conserving resources, often driven by a strong protective instinct towards loved ones. They possess a powerful ambition and intense focus, which can fuel their leadership qualities, but also carries the risk of becoming overly controlling or obsessive if not kept in balance. So that's his ascendant. I mean, you kind of see that with family. I mean, he's got that dynamic where, again, if running right, it's really a really good politician. If he gets angry, he's going to say and do stuff that isn't so hot. And family is massive. So
yeah, and he displays that with his kids and his wife, and I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's definitely like protects them and takes care of them and wants to. You can even see that.
Actually, out of everyone, probably Biden is the number one politician. Like energetically, he kind of fits as the number one politician. Okay. Because you're like, you need to schmooze, you need to do this, you need to push, but not too much.
He's good at schmoozing and getting. Yes. Yeah, he's good at that.
Kamala is, she can be a good team player. Like if she was on the council, the presidential, like that kind of place, probably a better place for her. Again, not necessarily the front person, but someone who could give wise counsel and give good counsel, like that would potentially be there. I mean, Trump's a CEO. I mean, everybody fears he'd be a dictator because that's the dynamic he has. But not dictator. He actually would rather be king. Okay, so, I mean, if you really want to get down to it,
I could see that.
I mean, the king, yes. Well, it was so funny when we were in India. There was one little guy there, and he comes up and he's talking to us, and he's saying, well, he was talking about Trump, and Trump was no longer president. Biden was president because this was just, a couple years ago. And he's like, oh, and it's like, who? You're a king. What do you mean our king? Yeah, with your king, who's our king? Trump. We all lost.
That's the persona he has, though. People like I mean, I don't think he's trying to become a king or a dictator. I don't.
Personality. He has
personality-wise, yeah. He's
that's what he has the personality of. I mean, he's got Regulus right on his face, so it's like it's massive. So again, you can understand the fear because people. I mean, you kind of want a politician. So, you can, if you really look at the energy dynamics, you can understand the appeal of Biden. Okay?
Right, because he's a politician and he knows how to talk
and
to
you can understand
the
fear. You can understand the fear of Kennedy because Kennedy is not technically a politician. He's a reformer. Okay, so reformers want to change the system. Politicians move within the system.
Right.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. And Trump has changed the system. That's why he's king. Like, no, I want to do it my way. Where now Walz and Vance, they want to make Vance as a mini Trump. Vance is not a mini Trump. Vance is a politician. He's changing the system from within. It's not a reformer quality. Walz has almost more of a reformer quality in the dream sense, like imagination sense, not in the pushing sense. Okay. So these are how, I mean, for me, these are how I would describe it. I would, again, people want to get upset if you like say this or that, but it's just, that's just not the way life is. People are who they are. And,
Right.
given certain situations, yeah, this dynamic is great. Like it really is. All of these have places where they can be.
Where
And
they could
so,
be good, and they could also be not good. Yeah, so
absolutely.
yeah, so it's not
Absolutely.
about everything is pointing to one, and that's the way I look at astrology too. It's not so much predictive as it is, although you can see when things are going to happen. Would I have been able to tell you the day that Trump got shot at, that he was going to get shot at? No, but I do know that there was stuff going on that weekend, Uranus, Mars, and
Yeah. I mean, there's the
alcohol
possibility of
on his
calamity. Yeah.
midhaven. Right. And I mean, I even told my boyfriend, like, hey, don't just be careful this weekend. Don't drive. He's like, why did you tell me that after that incident happened with Trump? And I'm like, oh, and try to explain the astrology to him. It was interesting because you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. Like, you're not trying to be looking into a crystal ball, but the energies are present for something that could be chaotic
Yeah.
and shocking and surprising and all of that. And I mean, that was aspecting Trump's midhaven. That's where his hat in
Yeah.
the world, where he's like
Yeah.
what he's seen by. So, can I predict the from looking at the charts, can I predict who's going to win? I wouldn't say with all certainty I would know who would be the winner.
Well, I will
can
say this. There's
some,
sometimes when you can look, like when Trump won the
yeah,
first time, that was like plain as day. Like, oh yeah, he's going to win. Like that was
yeah,
so obvious. Just from the transits moving into 10th house and all this kind of stuff. It's like, oh my God, right at the election. Yeah, he's, boy, people got
right.
pissed at me for that one. It's like, I'm not saying this is what I want. I'm saying this is what it shows. Like, that's just the way
Right.
it is.
Right.
So this was before he even got the nomination. I was talking about that. Like, oh my God, he's got everything showing the rising into the 10th house. Oh yeah, that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you sometimes it's clear. Other times it's not as, like, it's just
Right.
not as
It's
clear. Like
not
I can't
super
quite
clear.
tell. Yeah. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you really can spot those things.
Right. It can be, but is it always? I don't.
No,
I don't think it's a crystal
no.
ball. It's
But you can
not.
always see the energy dynamics. So the energy
You
dynamics of the
definitely
person are
can.
not going to change. Like they
And the
are
beauty
not
of
going to
it
change.
with astrology is that you can see the good things in everybody, and you can see the crappy
Yep.
things in everybody. We all have every part to us. There's not any
Yeah.
one person that's all good or all bad, for that matter.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
said
100%.
in the
Yeah.
very beginning. That's just
Well,
the
I
way.
don't look at anything as bad. Well, really, anything is bad or good. It's just life, and it expresses. Sometimes it expresses in a real, like, glorious, beautiful way. Other times it's really nasty and harsh. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other. Okay, one is more enjoyable than the other. I will say that, but one is not
Yeah.
always better. Like sometimes you need things to be ripped down. Sometimes you need something harsh, in order to move on, in order to make it better,
That's
and
very
it doesn't
true.
make it easy to go through. You look at all the things that have happened in societies. You look at Germany today, and Germany has got some gorgeous things, the buildings and all the things that are there. And the war was horrible, but the rebuilding was beautiful. Okay. In India, they haven't really had war. And so the old structures like that were in Germany, they still exist in India. And you know what? It's bad. Like, so,
Mm.
if they had
Oh, I
had a
see what you're saying.
war, if they
To
had had a
just
war,
get rid
those
of the
things
old.
they could have gotten rid of all that old stuff and rebuilt. But
Oh, that's
instead, the old
interesting.
always stays. So it never goes away. And it's can be disastrous because, it just, if that had been blown up, that would be all new now, you know? But again, not to say, oh, we need to go blow stuff up. It's not what it is. But just to say, oh, that's so horrible. Yeah. Well, go to England, go to the places that never got hit with anything and see how not fun those buildings are to live in. with very little electricity access, very little, like it's not good. Dinky little spaces and all this kind of stuff, not good, you know. So, you know, there, don't look at things as like when we look at life as just good and evil, you're looking at it in the wrong way. You know, life is life. You know, every fruit tree, every fruit has to die. It does. It's not going to always remain that, you know, that bright, ripe fruit. You have to pick it and eat it, destroy it, like, because it's
That
not
makes
going to
sense.
stay that way, you
Yeah,
know?
there's the cycle, and I mean, the Bible even
Yes.
says that, right? The
Yeah.
time for everything. Yeah,
Yes. And so
yeah,
it's a matter of acknowledging that. And okay, again, not justifying stuff. That's not about justification of sort of evil actions, but it's understanding, you know, okay, that this has happened, this has taken place. Now we rebuild. Now life comes back. So,
right.
well, hopefully people got something out of it, at least, you know, get
Yeah,
an idea of some
hopefully.
vibrational stuff.
Yeah, and you know, by the way, if you're interested in checking out more vibrational stuff, we are having a conference, the Vibrational Astrology Conference, Astrology Conference. Yes, it is going to be in March. You can check it out. Go to the website. Is vibrational, not vibrational astrology. It is Cosmic Patterns Conference. If you go to the website cosmicpatternsconference.com, you'll be able to see all of the people that are going to be speaking. Christopher is going to be doing a talk on higher vibrations. I'm going to be doing a talk on beginner vibrational astrology stuff. There's a ton of speakers. We have been interviewing them on the podcast here, you know, having them talk about what they're going to be sharing at the conference. It's going to be exciting. So check it out. And definitely, if you want, come
Yeah.
and visit.
And
We'd love
especially,
to
you
see.
know, your level of knowledge of astrology won't matter. There's going to be classes, there'll be
Yeah.
sessions for brand new beginners, there'll be for advanced. So there'll always be a session you can go to and get something out
Yeah.
of. And there'll be, you know, one of the beauties of like these kind of conferences and everything is you get to meet people, talk to them, actually ask them questions, you know, and discuss. Astrology is multifaceted. It to say it doesn't take a long time to learn is a lie. It does. And even when you learn a certain amount, there's like a ton more to learn. Like
Yes.
I'll be doing this my entire life and I spend
Same.
a lot of time on it and
Yes.
there's always a ton more to learn. Okay.
Right. I know I don't want to run out of I won't run out of things to learn,
Oh,
but
it's
you know,
impossible.
why would I
It's
want to?
so impossible to run out. And it's not
And then
just
you
little
start
nuanced
discovering new
things.
things too.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you're working
Insane.
on these higher vibrations, looking at these from different angles. So you're also exploring
Oh my
the
God.
uncharted territory here. You know, I mean, it's
Like
been
it's crazy.
somewhat laid out, but you know, keeping going. And why wouldn't you? I think that's really
Oh,
the
there's so
awesome
many
part of
things that I'm
astrology.
doing right now just in looking at it. So I've even done where all the house cusps off vibrations based on
Oh
the
wow.
ascendant. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It deals with so you have a house cusp, but you have a vibrational house cusp, which is way more definition to the nature of the house. Okay. So
Wow.
oh yeah, it's insane.
That's
And I can't even
interesting.
go down that whole road right now. Like that is just too much. But it'll be for future things. But or maybe someone else will do it. I don't know because I'm not going to own this thing. But there's just you know, and with Alex spending the time with them over this last weekend, you know, you see the interview. We have that up there.
Yep.
You can watch that and you know, able to talk to him. We spent the day together and really amazing what this karmic astrology is that he's developed. And he's going to be one of the speakers there. It's fascinating. If you're interested in learning all about past lives or future lives and just really how that affects you today or how you want to like view or relate to that today, very powerful stuff. Very smart guy, well spoken. Both of them just a wonderful couple. So he'll be one of the speakers there. We're going to have financial astrologers. If you want to learn,
Yes.
okay, because do I plan to go to some of the financial astrology? Yes. Because do I need to
Yes.
learn some stuff?
I
Yes.
will be too. And we're going to be interviewing all those people. Well, most of the people, most of
Yes.
the 25 speakers are already registered, and the ones that aren't like registered are actually set up to do a podcast with them. And if they're not, we're going to get them too, hopefully. So, a lot of people like Demetra George. I mean, she's amazing too. We're going to have,
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, a lot of these financial astrologers. I mean, this is going to be a really great conference.
It'll be a very broad-based astrology conference.
Well-rounded.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll have a lot of different, sort of topics that'll be talked about.
Right.
From, again, people who really know what they're doing, know their stuff. That's, to me, it's really important. You have to be able to be a communicator. You have to know your discipline and be able to express that, because, there's just so much information out there. And the reality is you can get a little lost. People can
Yeah,
get,
you can
I've
get a little
known, I've known people in classes that end up just quitting because it just becomes so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so you want to be able to make it simple enough where it can be bite-sized, where people can take the steps, where they have a certain grasp of things. As a heavy moon Virgo, if you don't understand it, if you don't understand it completely, you feel like you don't know it at all. So it's which good luck on astrology then. But you can get to the point where you at least feel comfortable, like, okay, I understand this. I understand the principle of this, what this means, the embodiment of the houses, or how the planets work, what we're really looking at. What does this mean in the overall astrology, and how important planets are. So it's these kind of issues that you can kind of get there, settle it in your head, that no matter what tradition you work with, the planets are the key. Okay. No matter what, the planets matter. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's there. If you can understand the dynamics of the planets, you will understand a ton. Okay. So it's understanding some of these points, and be able to work with that. But again, conference is great. I talk to a lot of people. Anybody comes up, wants to talk, I'm going to talk. Okay. That's a thing. Not everybody does. A lot of people are chicken. I don't know why, but they won't do it. But if you're coming to the conference and you want to, just come up, man. It's like, I'll talk about anything. Like, I have
it's fun
no
to
taboo subjects.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to speak to people that actually, even if you don't know astrology well and you're just learning, it's fun to be able to speak to people who speak your language, who know words, and if they know more than you do, you're learning from them, or vice versa. I mean, nobody feels, there's no judgment or anything. At least, I don't see that when I go to conferences. I see people really wanting to share because they feel like, wow, I'm around people that are interested and learning and wanting to grow.
We all started off not knowing anything. So just so
we all did.
like,
so
I went to one thing one time. It was just a small little gathering here in Jacksonville, Florida, for astrologers. It was like a club, and I went there. I was brand new, and I'm like, hey, I didn't understand how the transit worked. I didn't understand how it associated with houses or how you did that. And I wanted someone just like kind of can you explain that? No one would do that.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't teach. I don't do this. I don't like it. Pissed me off so much. Like that no one there wanted to do anything. They didn't like, oh, well, you go find a teacher or do that. Like, you can't, like, it's going to take less than 5 minutes to explain this, but no one would bother.
And that's the thing. If you're even just a consultant of astrology, if you're just talking with your friends, you're teaching people in a way. If you're just, talking amongst friends, you're learning, you're sharing, because, if you're consulting with someone, you're teaching them what is going on in their chart. You might not heavily drop all the astrology stuff on their lap, but if they're willing and to listen to it, that's something you do, a lot of people do want to know.
But,
it's different. But I mean, I think that's, I'm surprised that.
And that, as you can see, that sticks in my mind a lot. Because
well, it's not going to be like that.
That's the thing. That's why I will talk to anybody. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
in your question, I'm going to answer it. Because it's like, you can read the books, but if you can't, like, it's very difficult sometimes to, like, I read the book and I'm not quite understanding it. For someone to sort through that really quick, It's just literally can save days of weeks or months of trying to figure
Right.
something out because you just are missing
Mm-hmm.
one point, And it's like just to have that
Yeah.
explained. And that's one of the things that you could get at the conferences too, is just those little points. Just, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me? Or going to the program, can you show me how to do this? Yeah, I'll show you. Like nothing
Yep.
takes that long. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it'll be great. Hopefully we'll get to see some of you guys there.
We'll see
So
some of them for sure.
some of them for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah. It'll be
So
good.
all right. Well, this is a great one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you think about what we talked about in the comment section. We'd love to hear what you think. And we'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.